Welcome to Hollywood Latest Reports, where hidden truths meet the public eye. Tonight's story unveils one of the most shocking and emotional family rifts in the world of the Swaggarts. A storm that has silently brewed for years has finally burst into flames. The daughter of one of the most respected evangelical families, Jennifer Swaggart, has once again stood against her own parents. But this time, it's deeper, louder, and impossible to ignore. For years, Jennifer has lived in the long shadow of her family name, the daughter of Donnie and Debbie Swaggart, granddaughter of the iconic Jimmy and Frances Swaggart. To the world, the Swaggarts have always represented unity, faith, and power. But behind closed doors, a different story was writing itself. A story of accusations, heartbreak, and a daughter who never found peace under her parents' wings. It all began with one statement, one accusation that changed everything. Jennifer Swaggart had gone public a few years ago with claims that shook her family's reputation. In a moment of pain and rebellion, she accused her own father, Donnie Swagart, of being emotionally manipulative and distant. She spoke about years of being silenced, ignored, and misunderstood. But the breaking point came when she said she felt used for appearances but never loved as a daughter. That one sentence went viral, spreading like wildfire across Christian media and online platforms. For Donnie, it was more than a shock. It was humiliation. For Debbie, it was heartbreak. And for Jennifer, it was the start of her isolation. Debbie Swaggart, known for her calm and poised personality, stepped in to defend her husband. According to sources close to the family, Debbie had begged Jennifer to stay quiet, to think of the ministry, the family image, and the people who looked up to them. But Jennifer refused. She felt her voice had been ignored for too long. When Debbie tried to stop her, Jennifer's resentment turned toward her mother too. What began as a daughter's cry for attention slowly transformed into a long-lasting war within the Swaggart family. In the years that followed, Jennifer distanced herself not just from her parents, but from the entire Swaggart circle. She stopped attending family gatherings, skipped church events, and began posting cryptic quotes on social media, messages about truth, betrayal, and fake love. Her followers noticed the shift immediately. Many began speculating that Jennifer had never healed from her early conflicts with her parents, and now it was showing. But the real pain wasn't visible online. It was in the silence, the kind of silence that happens when love turns into misunderstanding. A close family friend revealed, Jennifer always felt like she was living in her father's shadow. No matter what she did, it was never enough. And when she tried to speak, she was told to stay quiet for the sake of image. Those words echo what many children of powerful families experience: the burden of perfection, the weight of expectation, and the loneliness of never being truly heard. Debbie Swaggart, despite her grace, could not fix what was already broken. She reportedly tried reaching out to Jennifer multiple times, sending messages and letters asking her to come home to sit and talk. But Jennifer, still angry and hurt, never responded. The emotional wall between mother and daughter became too tall to climb. Meanwhile, Donnie Swagart kept his silence in public, avoiding direct statements about Jennifer. Yet sources close to the ministry claim he was deeply hurt. One of his associates shared, Donnie believed he was protecting his daughter by keeping family matters private. But Jennifer took his silence as rejection. That's where everything went wrong. In the eyes of the public, Jennifer began to appear as the rebel Swaggart, the one who never fit into the family's clean image. But behind that rebellion was a young woman crying for connection. She once said in an emotional interview, "I never wanted to fight them. I just wanted them to see me." That single line broke the hearts of thousands of viewers. It showed the human side behind the headlines, a daughter who just wanted her parents' understanding. Even today, Jennifer continues to stand apart. While her family remains active in ministry, she has chosen a quieter life, focusing on her own projects and distance from the media storm. But whenever the Swaggarts make public appearances, Jennifer's absence never goes unnoticed. Viewers still ask, why doesn't she join them anymore? The answer, though complex, always comes back to one painful truth: the wounds never healed. Some insiders believe Jennifer's conflict runs deeper than the public knows. They say she felt betrayed when her mother, Debbie, publicly supported Donnie after Jennifer's accusations. For Jennifer, that was the final blow. The moment she realized she was standing alone, she wanted her mother to believe her, to protect her, said a source. But when Debbie defended Donnie, Jennifer took it as a sign that love had conditions. That's why, to this day, Jennifer's stance remains unshaken. She refuses to attend family events, refuses to appear on stage, and refuses to speak kindly of the people she once called her entire world. Some call it stubbornness, others call it courage, but for Jennifer, it's survival. And while time has passed, the emotional gap between them has only widened. Even now, whenever Donnie or Debbie are asked about Jennifer, their expressions tighten. They change the subject. There's an unspoken pain in their eyes, the kind that only parents estranged from their child can understand. Friends who have seen Jennifer recently say she has found peace in independence. She has surrounded herself with a small circle of people who support her without judgment. She's not bitter anymore, one friend claimed. She's just done expecting anything from her parents. That's her way of healing. But the public hasn't forgotten. Every time the Swaggarts appear in news headlines or on stage, social media fills with questions. Where is Jennifer? Did she ever reconcile with her family? Why does she always stand against them? The truth is layered, part emotional, part historical, part personal. Jennifer's struggle is not just rebellion. It's the story of a woman who felt unseen in a family where image mattered more than emotion. She didn't hate her parents. She hated how things were handled. Hollywood's latest reports spoke to multiple sources who all said one thing in common. Jennifer's silence now speaks louder than her words ever did. There's also speculation that the rift began much earlier than the public realized, possibly during Jennifer's teenage years. She reportedly felt neglected whenever ministry duties took her parents away for months. As the Swaggarts became more public figures, Jennifer's life became more private, more confined. Growing up surrounded by fame but deprived of affection can turn love into resentment, and that's exactly what happened here. Debbie once said in a brief statement, "I love my daughter no matter what she says about us." But insiders say Jennifer never saw that love as real. She reportedly told a close friend, "Love without support is just a word." And maybe that's why Jennifer Swaggart continues to stand against her parents, not out of hate, but out of a deep desire to be understood. For years, she watched her parents receive applause for preaching about love and forgiveness, while she felt unseen and unheard in her own home. That contradiction became too heavy to bear. Even after years of silence, Jennifer's story remains a reminder that behind every perfect family photo, there may be pain the camera can't capture. Behind every smile, a wound that refuses to heal. As time passed, Jennifer Swaggart's silence became its own language, one that screamed louder than any interview or public post could. For years, she stopped responding to journalists, stopped attending public events, and avoided every opportunity that connected her to the Swaggart name. But people noticed that despite her distance, she could never fully escape it. The name carried both privilege and pain, a reminder of where she came from and what she lost. Behind the scenes, Jennifer's life took a quiet turn. She moved away from Baton Rouge for a while, living in a small town under a different rhythm. No cameras, no flashing lights, no sermons, just peace. Those who saw her during that time described her as different, calmer, but still wounded. There were moments when she'd talk about her family with mixed emotions, anger fading into nostalgia, and nostalgia breaking into silence. One of her old friends shared something that broke many hearts. Sometimes, Jennifer would just look at old pictures of her parents preaching together, the friend said softly. She never said much, but her eyes said everything. She missed them, but she couldn't go back. That's the tragedy of love mixed with pain. Even when you forgive, the scars stay. Meanwhile, Debbie Swaggart continued to pray for reconciliation. Insiders from the ministry say she never stopped lighting candles for her daughter or keeping Jennifer's childhood Bible on her nightstand. Debbie believes one day God will bring Jennifer home, said a family source, but faith alone wasn't enough. Every time Debbie tried to reach out, she was met with silence, and that silence haunted her more than any public controversy. Donnie Swaggart, on the other hand, stayed firm, perhaps too firm. He rarely mentioned Jennifer's name, even in private. Those close to him said he had built emotional walls around his heart, trying to protect himself from the pain of rejection. But people who knew him well claimed they often caught him glancing at family photos before sermons, whispering small prayers under his breath. It's ironic. The family that taught millions about forgiveness struggled to practice it under their own roof. And yet, deep inside, Jennifer wasn't the villain the media painted her to be. She was just tired. Tired of trying to prove herself, tired of being unheard, and tired of pretending that everything was fine when it wasn't. Her decision to stand against her parents wasn't about hatred. It was about survival, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Sometimes, standing apart is the only way to stay whole. Over the years, Jennifer tried to find herself. She got involved in quiet charity work, supporting causes related to mental health and women's recovery programs. Those who worked with her said she was incredibly compassionate, a woman who understood pain because she had lived through it. Ironically, she showed more empathy to strangers than she ever received from those closest to her. Her journey became one of rediscovery, finding faith again, but not the way her family preached it. For Jennifer, faith became personal. It wasn't about appearances anymore, it was about healing. In a rare podcast appearance, when asked about her family, she didn't name names but said something that stayed with listeners. Sometimes, love means walking away until you're ready to return without anger. Those words went viral. Fans who once criticized her began to see her side of the story. They started realizing that maybe, behind her defiance, was a woman searching for peace in a world that demanded perfection. The Swagard family, however, continues to stand united in public. Gabriel Swagart often mentions family strength in his sermons, but never directly references Jennifer. It's as if the family has made an unspoken rule. No one brings up her name, but everyone feels her absence. Recently, rumors began to circulate online that Jennifer might finally be considering reconciliation. According to sources close to her, she has expressed a quiet desire to visit Baton Rouge again. Not to appear on camera or stage, but to find closure. She's not looking for drama anymore, the source said. She's looking for peace, even if that means just saying goodbye properly. This moment will be remembered for years to come. If you were moved, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this report with your friends. More exclusive stories and emotional updates are on the way, so stay tuned.